Good morning, everyone. Um, Again, my name is Jesse Matthews. I'm here today to talk to you about Cutting Edge. Basically, we are the largest heavy-duty diagnostic distributor for TEXA Diagnostics. We serve a lot of large fleets, such as yourselves, and I wanted to, give a brief presentation on the benefits of TEXA Diagnostics and where we fit in the marketplace here. Okay, we can start with a brief backstory on emissions. I'm under the understanding that most of you, know that emissions can present a problem in fleets. I think we can all agree on that. Basically, I just wanted to kind of go over, where it all started and where everything is going and what the need for diagnostics actually truly is within a fleet. So basically it started with the consent decree of 1998. Make a long story short, the CARB and the EPA recognized that some of the manufacturers may have been fudging the numbers a little bit as far as emissions. So they decided that they were going to make them comply with a new emissions related problem or new emissions laws of 2004. So that obviously brought in a lot more problems. The technology simply wasn't there in the beginning. So when they introduced, the DPF filters and things like that, what you ended up having is issues with not only the diesel fuel, but you also had, this is new technology. You end up going into D-rate, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. I actually, funny story, on Friday, we also have a hand tool division as part of Cutting Edge, and I was taking the tool truck to be wrapped in Panama City, and sure enough, I went into D-rate on the way there. So these types of emission problems happen. I'm sure most of you are aware of it. And that's kind of the reason why diagnostics is a real key portion of what we do here. Where we come in. So in 2007, they introduced EPA emissions laws, which basically you needed to have a diesel particulate filter within the vehicle to limit NOx output. So from that point forward, you have EPA 2010 emissions where it was either DPF or DEF. And then now 2013 forward, it's DPF and DEF systems. So obviously with DPF, they're designed to be driven straight down the road at 55 miles per hour. They can go into active regen, and typically you won't have as many problems. However, that's not the only application for these vehicles. You got a lot of them that are sitting at idle, and that's where you run into a lot of the problems with your D-rate issues and DPF filters being clogged and the need for forced regeneration. With DEF, you have a lot of DEF quality problems sometimes, depending on how the DEF is actually stored. For those of you that don't know, DEF is basically just urea and water. It's a very delicate balance, and if it's not stored at the proper temperatures, you can actually have crystallizations and things like that that affect your DEF quality, which will also put your vehicle into D-rate. All right, so where we're headed. This is a kind of a back and forth matter. I actually just read an article before I came in here. Essentially what they're trying to do now is, with the introduction of DPF and DEF, we've gotten to a point where we're near zero emission to this point. Now what they're trying to do is actually increase the fuel economy of the vehicles. So with that, however they determine how they're going to get there with some of these larger trucks and things like that, it requires more technology, which is going to require further give you guys the need for a diagnostic tool or something of the sort to be able to fix these trucks. I thought this was a very interesting statistic. It would take 60 of today's clean diesel trucks to equal the emissions of one truck sold in 1988. Thought that was a pretty significant, we've come a very long way as far as the technology and where we stand, but they're pushing for more and more, regulation, and also, increasing fuel economy and things like that. I spoke earlier. We are the largest TEXA distributor, which is our heavy-duty diagnostics that we like to sell. We are the largest TEXA distributor in the world. So we brought the product over here from Italy in 2014. Obviously, it's an Italian-based company. We work on everything mainstream, heavy-duty, medium-duty, light-duty diesels. Basically anything that you would have in your fleet. We work on all of the major systems, so your engine, your ABS, your brake systems. We also work with, your gateways, all of the major components of all of the vehicles. This is just a list of all of the vehicles that we cover. As you can see, it pretty much covers, the vast majority of what we see here in North America. Yes, we do cover Detroit. Let me see. Should be powertrain. Yes. Okay, right there. Yes. Are you speaking specifically to like Detroit Series 60 engines? Right. Yep. We do have coverage for those. Like I said, if you encounter it here, we have coverage for it. I'm confident in saying that. In addition to truck, we also cover off-highway. So that could apply to a lot of municipalities. We work with the city of Gulf Shores here, a couple of local municipalities around here that use this tool. Obviously, like I said, for truck, we cover power sports, off-highway, marine, and a supercar. So we kind of do a little bit of everything. Obviously, we're here mainly to talk about the heavy-duty truck. We have a couple of different packages to talk about. This is just a representation of the software. Basically, that's a graphical representation of a cylinder cutoff. It'll show you which cylinder you're cutting off, why you're doing it, and give you all your key data PIDs that you would need to see. We can graph data PIDs, and then obviously it'll show us our fault codes. So this is a fully in-depth scan tool that's going to be more than reading codes, clear codes, and data stream. You're also going to have advanced bidirectional capabilities. You're going to have parameter changes, injector cutoffs like I spoke of. You can do injector coding. Obviously DPF force regenerations, all of your emissions resets like we spoke of earlier. When the vehicle goes into D-rate, sometimes it gets to a point where you have to reset the emissions and then force the regeneration in order to get the vehicle back in proper running order. We also partnered with motor repair information, so all of the packages that come from Cutting Edge will have OEM repair information, which is very invaluable. It saves the technician a lot of time and effort. Basically, you get a code, you go over to the OEM repair information, and it's got all OEM information. So it's going to have your fluid types, specifications, tightening sequences, torque specs, you name it, it's in there. Wiring diagrams, all from the manufacturer. We also just released a quick service. So we recognize that some of our customers don't have a direct need for all of the advanced capabilities that we offer in our full line product, but they still needed to have something to work on the emissions. So we released, basically it's a trimmed down version of the IDC5 product that I just spoke of. The real key thing here is it's still going to give you your emissions resets. You're still going to have your DPF force regenerations and a couple of your key bidirectional capabilities, injector shut off, stuff like that will still be in there. You can still read codes, you can still clear codes, and you'll have data stream, obviously. It just kind of trims out all of the advanced capabilities that the full line has. With this product, you're not forced to do the annual update subscription like some of the other tools out there. Basically, if you don't update their tool, it turns into a glorified code reader or something of that sort. Our tool doesn't work that way. If you were to buy a package, you would get a 1 year of software subscription for free. And then beyond that, if you decide not to update going forward, or if you decide to only update whenever you renew your fleet or get new vehicles in that you would need to work on, you're entitled to do so. So we also don't charge any skip penalties. So if you decide to wait 3 years in between updates, you're more than welcome to do that. You pay the one-time subscription fee of whatever it is at that time. Right now it's at $7.95. And you get everything that you missed plus the following 12 months going forward. So like I said, at least to the being very flexible, you can update basically at any time at your leisure or whenever you see fit. The update for the quick service, the trimmed down version of the full service, is $350. And again, that's an optional update if you choose. Just kind of going over a couple of the differences that we were talking about, difference between quick service and IDC5. Like I said, mainly it just cuts out all of the the advanced functionality. So this is called eTruck. eTruck is very, very interesting, and we've received a lot of good feedback from the fleet industry with this one. Basically, what eTruck is, it's a remote diagnostic device that you can install into the vehicle that stays with that vehicle. The difference between eTruck and your standard telematics device is this actually gives you the capability to have bidirectional control of the vehicle no matter where you are in the country. As long as you have a cell phone signal, or the driver does, you can work with eTruck. So let's say someone decides to drive to Texas and you're here in Alabama. If they break down on the side of the road and all they need is an emissions reset and a forced regeneration, you can do that all remotely without ever having to have the vehicle towed, or basically it's simply a phone call. The driver breaks down, says, I'm in trouble, I need you to look at my vehicle. You go to your workshop portal app, which is right here. This is what it would look like to the fleet manager. It's going to show all of the vehicles that you have in your fleet. It's going to show you the fault codes that may be present on that vehicle. And it's going to give you the ability to do bidirectional capabilities, like I said. So we can do emissions resets. You can read and clear codes with it. And then you can also force regenerations, like I said, from anywhere. So this is a really, really good tool. This is not a standalone tool. This is meant to be an addition to the already professional line tool that you have. Like I said, it will do force regenerations and emissions resets, but beyond that, it's not gonna fix the truck for you. So it's a good tool to know what's going on. So in addition to that, if you recognize that the problem cannot be fixed remotely, let's say that it's not an emissions related issue, or let's say we have a bad injector or whatever, you can determine that based on the fault code that you see remotely, and then you can already start to order that part so that once that vehicle returns to you or your technicians, you could go and you can actually start fixing it immediately versus having to diagnose the vehicle once it gets there and then ordering the parts afterwards. So this is just basically explaining, why it's a good idea to have something like eTruck. The vehicles, as you guys, I'm sure, have, if you noticed, they're only getting more and more advanced. There's more ECUs every year. If you look at a vehicle from 2007 to now, it's night and day different, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. The more systems that they put on these vehicles, the more ECUs they're going to have, and the more that you're going to have a diagnostic tool in order to figure out what's going on. This is just this is a screen of the Workshop Portal app. Like I said, it'll actually tell you how many vehicles you have in your fleet, how many of them have active or memory faults, and how many of them are, in the clear or good. You can also keep up with your maintenance with this tool as well. You can set custom maintenance schedules, so you'll get an alert on this system, and it'll let you know, truck 23, is doing for brakes or something like that. All in one system, and it'll keep everything organized for you. Like I said, you can create your own custom, work schedules or maintenance schedules as you see fit. It'll show you the vehicles that you have that need maintenance, are coming up for maintenance, and are good on maintenance as well. This is kind of highlighting the 5 environments. Like I said, off-highway, that's slowly moving towards where we're at right now with truck. You actually have tractors now that also have emissions. I'm sure most of you are aware of that. So the same rules apply. They're catching up in the off-highway sector with the truck. So, you're going to have the same emission-related issues that you're having with truck. The problem with that is it's a lot more difficult to, get a combine harvester to the dealer. So chances are they'll have to have somebody sent out. Then they're going to charge anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 just to come out and tell you what's wrong with it before you even get into the repairs. So this is explaining basically our devices here. This is the Axoni Nemo tablet. This is built in Italy, IP67 rated, so it's very shop friendly. It's capable of being dropped, things of that nature, and it's not going to be destroyed. This is our VCI. It's housed in a magnesium chassis, so again, it's very durable. Since we've been doing this, we've had to fix 3 of these. We work with a lot of national accounts, Mac Tools, Matco Tools, Diesel Laptops is one of our largest distributors. So with all of the units that are being sold, only 2 or 3 of these have ever been repaired. So they take, they take a lot of pride in the product that they put out. This is kind of just going over off-highway. Just give you a brief overview of everything that we cover here. As you can see, all of the major makes and models are in there. Your John Deere, your Caterpillar, you name it, all of the major makes and models are there. Again, this is just an example of the software. It's what it looks like, injector shutoff, and then some of the, helpful things. It's going to show you what cable you need to use, where the diagnostic connector is. That's a key one in off-highway. I don't know if any of you have ever worked on off-highway equipment before, but a lot of times will put the diagnostic connector in very odd places. So that's a very good feature to have. That's showing our regeneration and process, basically showing you all your key data PIDs while that's happening. We also offer joystick calibrations and things of that sort as well. Again, this is the Axoni Nemo. Those are just some specifications that we talked about before. These are our 2 main packages that we offer for truck and off-highway. We do have a US-based technical support. We're right down the street in Foley. We will shortly be moving to Robertsdale. We purchased the First Baptist Church of Robertsdale, and we'll be moving our location there in about a month. So basically, if you or your technicians have troubles, you're going to get a person on the phone every single time. You're not going to get an operator, you're not going to get a computer, anything like that. You'll get a person at the end of the line. We are open from 7 to 7, Monday through Friday, and we also offer on-site training as well. Obviously, this is a very sophisticated piece of equipment, and there is a learning curve with anything. So, we're here to help you through that process. Like I said, we work with a lot of large national accounts, so this is no new thing to us. That's my contact information there, and that is our president and CEO, Lee Locklear, there. I have cards back here. If you guys have any questions at all, please come let me know. we'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have and work with you in the future.